Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to Kitchen Tonic. Welcome back to another brand new video, brand new tasty video that is here on the channel. In this video here today, we're going to be making a nice tasty Guyanese classic, and that is egg balls, guys. A very famous street food that we all know and love, or hopefully you know it, because if you don't know it, it's about time you try it. So let's get into the recipe here. Over here I'm going to be using 1.5 pounds of cassava that I already went ahead and boiled. I boiled it with some water and some salt in the water in order to give this cassava here some taste and some nice flavor. And I then, after boiling my cassavas here, I then went ahead and removed it from the fire, and I went ahead and let it cool a little, and I removed the stem or the veins that's in the middle of the cassava. And that's all I've done so far, so we're going to take it from there. Moving on with the recipe, we're going to be using some cumin or some jeera powder that I have here, and this is half a teaspoon of jeera powder or cumin, ground cumin. We're also going to be adding some spice to this recipe here, and what you're looking at here is also half a teaspoon of cayenne pepper. Totally optional, by the way, and you can also substitute this for real pepper sauce if you so please. Over here we're also going to be using some garlic powder for this recipe as well. Also some green onions or some scallions or some spring onions, whichever term you want to use to describe this. Of course, the name of this recipe here is called egg balls, so we're going to need some eggs. We're going to be using 6 eggs that we're going to be coating in our cassava mixture, and we're also going to be using an additional egg for frying purposes, as well as some flour. Now what I have in this bowl here is some regular all-purpose flour, as well as some spit pea flour that I went ahead and put in there as well, and we're going to mix those up and combine it into one consistency and everything, and we're going to get this recipe rolling. So let's start with our cassava here. We're going to start mashing this cassava. Now the way you're going to boil your cassava here, you want to make sure that you don't overboil it, because if you do, your cassava is going to start falling apart when it comes to frying it. So what you want to do here is you want to make sure that you boil your cassava, or what I did was boil between about 10 to 11 minutes total that I went ahead and boiled my cassava. And you want to try to take a fork or something and poke it into the cassava, and you know, by the consistency that you have, you don't want it to be too soft and you don't want it to be too hard. You want your fork to be able to fairly penetrate your cassava here without much resistance, and you don't want it to have too little resistance, because then it's going to be a little too overcooked. So you want to make sure that you pay attention to that. You can use my reference of 10 to 11 minutes for boiling time, and feel free to adjust that and go from there. Alright guys, so what you're looking at here is my cassava on your screen here. I'm going to go ahead and use this potato masher smasher tool here, or kitchen utensil, and we're going to go ahead and just make sure that you smash your cassava nice and consistently or evenly throughout. You want to make sure that there's no massive lumps or anything that's going to be remaining in your cassava here. Alright guys, after you finish smashing your cassava here, for the most part, we're going to go ahead and start adding our seasonings or our flavorings to our cassava here. I'm going to start with my cayenne pepper. And basically I'm just going to go ahead and add all my ingredients or my spices here, and then we're going to go ahead and combine everything. So this is my ground jeera, my garlic powder. You can use grated garlic or blended garlic or whatever you feel to use, whatever rolls your boat. I'm going to go ahead and mix this up a little quickly before adding my scallions into this mix here. Alright guys, after you've mixed your spices up a little, you want to go ahead and add your scallion into the mixture as well, and go ahead and continue mixing and incorporating everything. Alright guys, so after you've sufficiently combined most of your ingredients here, we're now going to go ahead and start making the balls in order to place our egg in the middle of it. Alright, so what we're going to go ahead and do now, I'm going to be using my hands for this, by the way. Feel free to use whatever techniques that rolls your boat. We're going to go ahead and take some of the cassava into your hands just like so. Make sure that you have an adequate amount because you're gonna need enough in order to coat our eggs, guys. Just go ahead and flatten it out a little just like this. And we're gonna go ahead and take one of our eggs just like so, and you're gonna go ahead and place it in the middle, and then we're just gonna cover the egg in the middle of our cassava mixture here. You want to make sure it's nice and round and that it won't fall apart in the cooking process. So you want to make sure that you get everything nice and looking like this. I'm going to go ahead and do that one more time for you guys to see, and then I'm going to finish off the rest off camera. Okay guys, so you just want to go ahead and take an adequate amount of cassava into your palm just like so. You want to make sure that you have enough cassava in there so that your egg doesn't fall out or anything like that. Just go ahead and flatten it out a little. Go ahead and grab one of your eggs, and we're going to go ahead and place that in the middle there, and we're just going to close it on up. Alright guys, and that's about it for this, for the coating of our egg into our cassava mixture here. Now I'm going to go ahead and finish off the others off camera, and I'll be back to show you guys some more progress or some more updates with this recipe here. Alright guys, so I went ahead and finished rolling out my egg balls here, and for now I've set them aside. What we're going to go ahead and do now, this is our one egg that we're going to be needing for this recipe here. We're just going to go ahead and beat this egg up a little. Okay guys, and after you finish beating your eggs, I also have my flour mixture that I went ahead and combined, which if you remember was my all-purpose flour as well as my split pea flour. I went ahead and combined them in this bowl here. So what we're going to go ahead and do now, we're going to do kind of like an egg wash. So what we're going to go ahead and do, take one of our egg balls just like so, and make sure that you cover it nicely in your flour here. Then we're going to go ahead and dip our egg ball into our egg mixture. And now I'm going to go ahead and set this aside. I won't be placing it into my pan as yet. I'm going to be cooking them 3 at a time. I should also mention that I already turned my stove on. It's about medium to low right now. We don't want our heat to be too high because then this egg ball would start to burn faster than we need it to. So go ahead and turn your stove on at this point to about medium to low heat. And we're just going to continue washing our egg ball here. I'm just going to do 3, and then we're going to jump over to our stove where we're going to place this into my frying pan. And we're not going to be deep frying these egg balls here. We don't want them to completely submerged. But there must be an adequate amount of oil in your pan. Alright guys, that was 3 eggs that I went ahead and coated already so far. And what we're going to go ahead and do now, I'm going to take you guys over to my stove so you guys can see the frying process. Alright guys, so here we are over at my frying pan here, and I'm going to go ahead and begin placing my egg balls into my fire here. And like I said, you don't want your oil to be too hot because then your egg balls are going to start to burn. My oil is just right now. I'm smelling that it's hot enough. So we're going to go ahead and let these egg balls slowly cook. And make sure that you're turning them on each side for like every couple minutes. And when they're golden brown, you're going to know that it's complete. So I'm going to show you guys the final product. Alright guys, and there we have it, the final product of my egg ball. I got 6 egg ball out of this. Obviously in the beginning I did specify 6 eggs. So yeah guys, this is what we're gonna have for the final product. Some lovely looking delicious egg balls guys. So with that said, I want to thank you guys for watching. Be sure to join me another time, another day, for some more brand new delicious recipes.